Hello everyone, my name is Andy, your one and only unofficial match, and this is the very first edition of the Drill Circle. It happens to go virtual, and I'm sitting in for your regular host, Nancy and Gelda. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about something very, very interesting. It's always has to do with the youth, and we are so privileged to have two very resourceful persons. These people have been great influence on my life personally. They have done their bits in my life, and I can attest to the fact that they are good when it comes to youthful stuff. Okay, so the very first person, in no particular order, is Mr. Wengod Benadaite. He happens to be the general manager for Don V Ventures. He has worked with so many young people. He's still working with so many young people, and therefore he deems fit for this particular slot. And then next is Sufi Dunedu. Sufi Dunedu is the founder of Sufi School of Love. Is it Love or Life? Love. Okay, Sufi School of Love. Okay. And yes, these are the resource persons for today's program. And today we are going to be talking about something that so many young people have had on their minds, bothering them, probably haven't had anything to sort out that kind of thoughts, and that happens to be youthful relationships. So the question here is, should young people be involved in romantic relationships? When we say young people, we mean young people and especially students. And we also have, there's going to be a case that was sent to UX by an anonymous person whose identity we are not going to disclose because of our privacy policy. And then we are going to try to see how best we can help this person. So delving straight in without wasting much time, we want to ask our very first question. We want to ask, what are your personal opinions about youthful relationships or romantic relationships? There are several relationships that we all know about, but where there is the attachment of romantic, what exactly does it mean? I'll start with you, Mr. Wengord.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Very well. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And then I thank the resource person, is it Sufi Dunedu as well, for being the last person. Yeah, good. With me, when it comes to relationships, especially that has to do with young guys. It's something that if not handled properly or not giving the right advice, it can lead into so much. So with young guys going into relationship, one, age to me is a factor. For example, for a student let's say in the university to be in a relationship, you have people who are like around 17, 18 in the universities, and yet they would like to do that youthful exuberant stuff. I don't think it will augur well for them, because considering their age, where I mean responsibility. Once somebody is taking care of you, you have a parent taking, or probably a guardian taking care of you, and then you decide that okay, you want to take care of somebody else. Because once you are in a relationship, relationship demands so much. Apart from the romantic part where that one day is just between the two of you, the other aspect of the relationship is it demands that you as a guy or a woman, you need to please the other opponent with all, manner of stuff. Going out, trying to please the person in whatsoever way. So, young guys go into relationship. For now, I would say the age is also a base for me.
Okay.
I hope you are going to
Okay.
Then the material aspect as well.
Okay. So if I get you right, based on the requirements or the needs of it, it's something that you wouldn't You wouldn't, let me just say, recommend for any young persons. Okay, Sufi, um, tell us what your idea of romantic relationships is.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you once again for this great opportunity to be on this platform. And for me, um, since infant or since conception, there's always been a relationship with everybody, because when you were a child, you had a relationship with your parents, even though not conscious of it. You have some relationship with your parents. You grew, you realize this is my auntie, and then it starts to expand. But as the growth process increases, then basically there come certain changes within you, which also starts make you demand another form of relationship. That is not your making. It is just how um, the body is. But the thing is, openly putting it, should they young people involved in romantic relationship? It could be here or there, like yes and no. Because if I'm a young guy and I'm not ready to enter into a romantic relationship, does it mean, since it has been said that maybe it is okay for young people to engage, is a must on me? So it all depends on the individual involved, because there are how do you call it, responsibilities and risk attached to it. So if we only look at the fun side of it and um, turn blind eye on the other consequences that may occur, then that's not a thing to like be blind about. So basically, I say you just look at what currently you are occupied with, whether education, whatever ambition you have, then factor into it this romantic relationship as to whether it's going to help you achieve it better or not. And so if you think it will not hinder your way in your progress in any way, then it's good. But you have to make sure that you pay good close attention to the consequences and the um, obstacles that may come your way when you are in this relationship. So
Okay.
that's the little I can say.
Okay. So if I get you right, also, you wouldn't want to take a stand on it, whether it is right or wrong, but for the mere fact that there are consequences and there are positives of it, and depending on the situation, um, and the whole thing being a necessity of life, a natural something, um, one is likely to get into it or refuse to get into it. Okay. So this is already happening. This is not as if we are now trying to get a response to it before young people start delving into it. But the thing is already happening. And I want to ask, why are some young people, or most, if I should say, doing this already? Despite the fact that some might have considered the probabilities of having to bear consequences and risk and all of those things, the general conception that they are into it. Why are young people doing it? Mr. Wengwo.
Oh, okay. With me, with regards to young people doing, like, already being in relationship, the youth of, not youth of nowadays. Using that word, then I'll be unfair to, I mean, the youth of nowadays. I mean, like Sophie said, we grew up having relationship from home. So from there, based on whatsoever situation you find yourself, some people go into relationship because they feel they get lonely, especially um, by like those in the universities. being attached to your books alone, having nobody to talk to, you would like to jump into relationships. That one is also a factor. And then again, to peer pressure, where you have friends coming to talk to you about the night they had with their girlfriends, they had with their boyfriends, here and there, with all those things. I mean, you are like, oh, okay, Charlie, if I should try this, it would be good. But like it's always said, you shouldn't always play the games that others are playing because they are playing it. You should know the game, the kind of game you want to play, and then you set up your principles, your rules, and then you play the game according to. What am I talking about? Um, let's say you find yourself as a student in school. I mean, you should put some principles on your path. There are things that can derail you, like relationships. You are in a relationship where the girl is like, okay, I want to see you 6 p.m. I want to see you 8 p.m. I mean, where probably you have exams, you have pressure. I mean, you will leave all those, and then because of that relationship, you want to satisfy the other person. To extent others will have to go borrow money, do things, I mean, to go into, I mean, satisfy the other. I mean, that's serious. So for
Yeah.
now, I would only say that it's peer pressure and then like the two bases I gave you.
Okay, okay, I get it. I know Mr. Sufi will definitely say that it is nature is also a part of it. Nature and necessity. But Mr. Wangod, in your earlier submission, you mentioned that to you, age was a necessity, a
Yes.
considerable factor. So I want to ask this very common question that almost every young person asks: what age is the right age to get into a relationship?
Okay. Um, Let me put it this way. Once you turn 18, it is said that you are matured and you can, I mean, do anything that adults do. Um, the, that one would also determine, like, it would depend on where you find yourself. There are people who growing up, like, from, let's say, a very youthful age of, let's say, teen, be a teen, from 13 and the rest. You have parents, you have uncles, you have let's say aunties around you who are like, okay, you are coming up. So they need to give you a gist, like advice, things to help shape you up. When you get to the quote and unquote, the age where everybody is expecting that, okay, one day you come home to show your girlfriend, your boyfriend, so that they know what you are about, especially when it comes to relationship. You would have been a bit matured based on all those advice given you. You get me? Let me land this one. Fortunately for me, on my part, growing up, I had like people like that, and you know, you have friends who are telling you things about what they are doing when they were 15, 17, like they have these relationships here and there. My auntie will call you and say, oh, Olenoko, do I have the chance to speak? Hello, can
Sure,
I?
sure, sure, you can.
Okay. I just want to chip in. You call you like Olenoko. I beg you. Um, when you are quote and unquote having sex or having a romantic relationship at your age, you know what is going to happen to you?
Hmm.
You would always be in a hurry because one, you are not that responsible. You think you have that fear factor that somebody will see that you are doing this, and I mean that alone will not make you enjoy it. But wait, go to school. I mean, be a responsible person, work, take care of yourself. You can take care of somebody else. I mean, in that, when you are in a relationship, no matter the height, when you get somebody pregnant, you can still handle any situation.
Hmm.
You get it?
Hmm.
So, with the age, that's what I'm talking about. I hope
So,
you get it.
okay, so you mentioned 18, but what you talked about did not um, state emphatically that 18 is the
That,
age. But I realized you were punching more on maturity. So, if
yes,
that is the situation, then I guess age shouldn't be a factor for you because people mature earlier than their age, faster than their age. Also, some people also mature at a latter part of their age. So, I think I don't know if you still stand by that principle that age is a factor
Yes,
before we proceed.
good. I still stand by the fact that age is a factor because one, let's put it this way, like I told you, growing up, before you mature, if you would let's say somebody at 16, would a person be able, given that chance opportunity to get married under the normal laws we have in our country?
Okay,
I
so
hope you're getting me.
okay,
So
I guess.
age is there, but before you get to that age, you need that guidance, that proper guidance.
Okay, okay. So Sophie, would you like to say anything about the age, or should we continue? You are mute. Okay,
Like my brother rightly said, ma'am, is by law you should consider a certain age factor, because when you put it out there that it doesn't matter your age and stuff, people will start to interpret it to themselves. Okay, I'm 10 years old and I think I have all the goodies, excuse my language, to partake in this game of romantic relationship. So why not go forward? Yes, but per law, there is a limit to which you can be considered a matured person. So if this thing is not taken into consideration and there is some form of romantic relationship between two people, and one is above the law and one is below, it can go against the other. So definitely there should be a certain age level for those kind of relationship. But going forward from that baseline, the rest is on the person. Once you are beyond that age limit, it is on you, your ambitions, what you want, and whether everything will be successful for you when you are in it. That's all.
okay, okay. So before we proceed, I want to quickly insert this that a romantic relationship is basically a relationship which involves physical and emotional intimacy, and that involves sexual activities. So that is exactly what romantic relationships are, and that's what we are talking about. So I want to ask this question: Is it is there ever a possibility for um, a relationship, a romantic relationship, to occur without sexual intimacy? And if there is, how is that, Mr. Sophie?
Um, there is always a relationship, but when you add romantic relationship or romance to it, then you are just trying to tell me you want to steer the wheels to that direction. So basically, that romantic relationship is like almost synonymous to sex. So if we have decided that we are in a romantic relationship, but will not engage with sex, you are just trying to just come like just tell yourself some jokes and story, because definitely one thing will lead to another.
Mm,
Because a little kiss, when you have pleasure doing that, you yearn for something else or more. More leads to more, more leads to more. Then you are there.
mm, mm. Okay, so people who engage, the young people who are dating and are saying no sex till marriage, they are just joking. Is that what you?
No, like you have to rightly quote me. Relationship that you can have a relationship with a woman, a lady, anyone else. You understand? You can decide, but the what you add to the word relationship determines the direction. I have a business relationship with brother Wengod. I have this relationship, but when you add, I have a romantic relationship with someone, then there is expectation. So you
Okay,
don't have to put it blank and say I have a romantic relationship with this lady or this guy, but I'm not expecting sex. Then you have
okay,
to yourself.
okay. Mr. Wangod, you are, if a young person, a young guy is dating somebody,
Mhm.
do you call that relationship a romantic relationship? I'm bringing in the context of dating. Initially, I didn't want to because it happens to be very broad, and that could be a discussion for another day. But assuming a young guy is dating another girl, would you call that a romantic relationship? And in such a situation, would you advise that they abstain? And is it possible?
Okay, very well. Um, you see, romantic relationship, like you rightly said, involves sex. I mean, kissing there and there. Um, you know, I was rightly waiting for you to ask the question you asked about guys who are in a relationship and they are like, okay, uh, we are dating but no sex. Um, the truth of the matter is, you see, romance, as in romance, means you need to kiss, hug. I mean, at certain point in time, it's not just about the physical. You
Yeah.
know, people would be like having relationships that are a bit long distance relationship. Let me put it that way. One is in school, one is somewhere else, and they go as far as doing video recordings and trying to do all manner of things just to please the other opponent. All those are part of romantic relationships. You get me? And then you
Yes.
have other people, you have people's videos being leaked because probably they might either the opposite might have shown it to a friend and the person gets hold of it. It's all over social media and the rest. Okay, now my advice when it comes to having like dating is that look, the reality of having a relationship that is like you having to date the other person should quote and unquote lead to marriage.
Mm.
You get it?
Yes.
So before you go into that level of relationship where dating comes in, it's like you go to the person most often or you talk to the person frequently, you create that bond between yourself, eventually should lead to like marriage. But where you have, let's say you are in school and you are, I mean, having to study, having a relationship, the other person to same for 4 years, quote, I mean, you date, you come together, you do this. Oh, look, the firewood, let me put it this way, firewood and petrol and put just close to any lighter or any light. I mean, would light up. I hope you get it.
I get it.
So, like, yeah, like my brother said, when you start with the kissing, the hugging, on and on, before you see the rest is happening.
Okay. Okay. But I have always thought that if something has happened before, then it probably could happen again. All this while we've talked about indirectly most of the perils that are involved in engaging in young people engaging in mutual relationships. But and most people would also say that they usually do not end well. But considering certain real life stories, we have had the lives of people like former President Rawlings. We've had people like Bishop Dagiwad Mills and several other people whose relationships or marriages started from um, their youthful ages. Some as tender as, I just really want to delve into it, and then they have succeeded. Are there probabilities that youthful relationships, which start from now, are likely to end up in marriage successfully? Probably after going through all this hectics, like firewood, which didn't light up, like that kind of a thing. Sophie.
Okay. For me, there's nothing is impossible because even if years back we thought we couldn't reach the moon, but we've reached the moon and going beyond wherever. But the point to note here is when you are in a relationship, and maybe you're already in a relationship with a young lady or a young man, you only have to set your priorities right and straight. Because, okay, let's say you are going on, based on what you are watching right now, maybe this video, you have learned something, but maybe already committed to a relationship. What do? You understand? And maybe there's some form of attachment that you guys have you've built that um doing something else will be like disastrous for you because all day you've been thinking of this guy or this lady. This same thing that is giving you that pleasure should be channeled into what part- particularly you want in life. Because when you don't plan, life plans for you. That's basically because let's say you don't plan there after relationship and romantic relationship, there is the likelihood that there will be pregnancy or childbearing, all these things. And when all these things set in, then the responsibilities on you both will be bigger and bigger. So closing your eyes to the responsibilities ahead is one thing that you shouldn't do to yourself. Secondly, you are already in the relationship. So what? You have to sit yourself down. Consider what will lead your relationship into the ditch or cause you trouble. Because that thing that started very beautiful and very nice will be like a war zone or hell when you don't put in the right plans for yourselves. Because that same lady or that same guy that is so wonderful that is making you like not to see anything else. When you are not able to focus on the dangers ahead and then maybe you fall victim to them, maybe that same guy or lady will not, to your understanding, will not be doing things that he or she should do to support the extra burden, the extra responsibility that has come. So there is always the likelihood that you guys are going to quarrel or do all those things. You understand? Because it has taken you guys by surprise. So the only thing I'm saying is if you are already in a relationship, be it romantic, everything, you have to make sure you know what you are doing, where you want to get to, and what more do you need to do now so that you prevent certain um, problems that may arise, so that in the near future you can reach your goals for yourself and your children that will follow.
Okay, okay. So attaching purpose, probably that's the most profound statement I heard. And now, to you, Mr. One God, in your earlier submission, you mentioned something about your auntie giving you some advice, and considering the difficulty involved in young people having to join the dots about the rights, the wrongs, the pros, the cons, and all of that about youthful relationships, romantic relationships, to be precise. I want to ask that what do you think is the role of parents in youthful relationships, and are they even performing it in the first place?
Good. Um, when it comes to parenting, and then the role of a parent in a youthful relationship, or let's say romantic, let me put that word, romantic. Like I used my auntie as a responsible parent. Once you realize your child is developing certain um, attributes that would make the other or the opposite sex get attracted to the person, I mean, to sit your child down, advise them as to the way they should go with their relationships with people. I mean, let them know that once you have breast, you have this, you have that, people would, you'll be attractive to people. but that doesn't mean you should always pay heed to that which they are saying. I mean, you should tell them how they can get pregnant, when they should get into any kind of sexual you get me. So with
Okay.
parenting, like let me the last part, most Ghanaian parents, as I'm talking to you, when you I mean, they don't talk to their children about sex. They don't talk to them about, I mean, they are even their youthful development. It's hard. Most children hear this only in the schools or in the classrooms.
Mm. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So the very last part of this conversation is when we discuss the case that was brought to us. We are running out of time. We need to go for a quick break. We'll be right back. And when we are back, we are going to be discussing the case, and then we are going to throw more light into it. We try as much as possible to help this person to sort themselves out. So please take and stay. We'll be right back. Okay, so I'll be reading the letter that we had, and then we try as much as possible to analyze. And this one says, "Dear you ask, I am a young student lady who happens to have fallen in love with a young man contrary to my principle. He initially proposed, which I refused, asking him to be patient with me. But his relentless efforts to make me happy despite his busy schedule made me fall for him almost too suddenly, and I eventually accepted. He was my first. I visited his apartment and sometimes had sleepovers. We had a level of crazy chemistry and were so in love. We couldn't help it one night and got very intimate. I was certain I had a serious committed boyfriend which could lead to marriage. My parents were in the dark all this while since I feared their reaction. We had an argument over an issue which frankly I reacted very badly to. He claimed he couldn't be with someone like me and broke up. Soon he was seen with another girl as I was torn apart and wallowing in my misery over my first love. I discovered later I was pregnant and he says he doesn't want a baby now. I don't have the guts to tell my parents about it. I'm considering terminating the pregnancy. What do I do? Okay, so this very sad, a very sad story from one of our patronizers, who, like I said earlier, whose identity will be keeping anonymous because of our privacy policy. So, Sophie, what do you think of this story?
Very unfortunate though. Very unfortunate though. Like I've been saying all this while. These are some of the things that we should look out for, because you don't even know whether the guy is for real or not, whether the guy wants to take it to the next level or not. But the price, um, when you consider the old days, like during those days, um, before you go close to having something to do with a female, then you've gone through all the trouble. You've gone through all the trouble, because that particular um um section that most of the guys yearn for is not a game. It's not a game that you can continue, start, game over, then you restart again. But when once you've got intimate with somebody as a lady, and maybe you have been disvirgin or something, you can, how do you reverse it? You can do all sort of things to make you feel like, okay, I'm okay now, but the memory and the attachment, everything is with you. So since this is not a game and your body is not like a training ground where people would have to come in and then do whatever and then go, then you have to set your priorities right as a lady.
Mm,
What
mm,
do I want for
mm,
myself? Because for all you know, no guy will come to tell you that, okay, I'm broke, I'm poor, I come from a bad like a bad background, I don't have self-confidence, for you to accept a
mm,
proposal from. it will be very hard because you are looking for someone to impress you. Likewise, somebody who doesn't have all these qualities will impose and then say, I'm good, I'm the guy, and I'm rich, my mother, and all those blah blah. So if you have not verified how this guy is and about what he's saying and everything, and then you went to them submit the price, then it's like there is a loss because at the long last you start because of fear you did it without the notice of so many people. So if the guy is coming sneaking to be with you and do all sort of things with you, he might as well also deny because what evidence do you have? Do somebody have to accuse him? Maybe this you he sneaks to see you. Nobody has seen him, but you know that you have been having intimacy with the person. So that's where he can decide that, oh no, this is not me. I didn't do anything, and I even caught this girl. It will be your word against the guys.
I get it. I get it. So, Mr. Wangod, she's currently considering terminating the pregnancy. You know, she's a student. The guy is also a student. Do you think she's making a sound decision?
Definitely no. No. Terminating the pregnancy by law, no, it's not appropriate. But I want to speak a little bit about the.
Could you please amplify your voice for us? Thank you.
Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, good. I want to speak a little bit about the fact that this decision going into this relationship, especially on behalf of the lady, is unfortunate, and it happened because I believe that there was no proper guidance growing up. When you come from a background, you mentioned Daggy Ward Mills and then former President Rawlings and the rest. At least former President Rawlings and Daggy Ward Mills, when you look at their background, where they are coming from, they have parents who will be like, okay, you're going to school, you would have relationship, you have these with people, but look, hey, there should be a target. Make sure, though they will come, you don't go to that extent with them to, getting yourself pregnant at a time where you're supposed to be in school learning. You get it? So I believe the lady didn't have that guidance growing up. You get it? So, quote unquote, peer pressure could have easily been like, okay, he's pestering you, your friends, the friends. He's pestering you the way, oh, this guy is good, the way he's coming close and close, and means he has something good in it for you. So they will just push him and then push her, and then she will go into it and then see what has happened at the end of the day. Now, pregnancy, terminating the pregnancy, no, I don't think. She's not the first person such a thing has happened to before. I know a lady pastor. She's a very renowned lady pastor in one of our big churches. She was in the universities. I think first, second year, she got pregnant, and this is a hard, real, lifetime story. You know, she decided that, okay, you know what? Let me be fair. Go give birth, give the child to my mommy. Mommy willingly accepted the baby. She went back to Winneba, studied, completed. Now even the child as I'm talking to you is also in the same university. She got pregnant. So terminating there, no, I don't think that one is a good advice. Yeah, so that's my take on that.
Okay. Okay. So they are not. She's not terminating. That means she has to keep her child.
Yeah.
But there is a likelihood that the parents, you know, obviously the parents might be. She says she's scared of telling the parents even in the first place. So
Sorry. Let me chip in this, because I'm in a hurry. This lady I'm talking about, I'm not going to mention her name, though. You know what? The parents in the beginning, they were unsupportive. Let me you know what happened? She eventually had to take the baby, the 3 months old baby, because She said at the point she had to go back. She had only 3 or 4 months to go back to school and then continue with her studies. That was the time given her.
mm,
So she decided to give the baby to an orphanage. She went into an orphanage somewhere around Somania and gave the baby to one of the people to take care of. And she comes from Winneba all the way to that place every weekend just to go and take care of the baby until the baby was somewhere around 3 or 4. And then somebody convinced the mommy to, forgive her and then take the baby in.
okay,
You get me?
okay,
So though
okay,
it's difficult, there's always a way out
okay.
once you put
So
your head to it.
okay, so hard decisions would have to be taken, and it has happened already. Sophie, you mentioned something about in a very small way, not she not taking precaution, but there was one time a life experience, a personal one. I had never taken MTN quick loan, but somebody approached me, and the way the person reacted, that she needed money. I knew I didn't have. I had to do the quick loan to give it to her. That was against my personal principle. Why am I adding this to the story? Probably the lady, the guy, okay, the lady or the guy. This is the story of the lady, so let's focus on the lady. She probably might have had all that precautionary messages probably as she was entering into school. But I feel there is always some sort of weakness attached to people's emotions and everything that would get them to do certain things which are against their personal principles. A friend of mine, Amwini, will say, ladies only consider. They do not feel anything. They just give you consideration. So in this situation, let's just say the lady was swayed off by a weak emotion, and now she is in this deep pit already. What do you think she can do aside having to apportion any blames, or maybe trying to pinpoint on the mistakes that have been made? What do you think she can do? What's the way forward, Sophie?
Um, from the onset, my brother has said everything, and it's not like we are trying to pinpoint mistakes, but at least the purpose of this discussion is also for somebody
Hmm.
to learn.
Okay,
So
okay.
you are just drawing a little lesson for the rest who maybe are yet to get there. But with all said, like my brother said, taking aborting a child is no right of yours. Because in
Hmm.
Ghana, you are not legal. And even outside Ghana, in places where it is legal, it has to reach a certain age. Without that, it is termed murder or something like you've taken a life. You understand? This is a commitment that you've made and an action that you've taken. So, and this is the consequence. Be mature enough to accept it and see the way forward, rather than looking at the easiest alternative way. You understand? That is what I can say.
Okay, so one God, let's just take your final words now.
Okay. Um, it's been fruitful. I thank Sophie, herself, and all our listeners and those having the opportunity to watch. Um, for our young guys out there, it is very good for you as a youth to have somebody who is a bit older to confide in and then share your problems, your thoughts, and everything with. This relationship. Once you do that, look, you would go a very long way. You stand out from any other person who doesn't do that. I'm saying this because I have personally witnessed. I have friends. I grew up with so many people, and when I look at my life, I'm not that perfect. But considering that which I have been through, doing that, I mean, talking to elderly people, trying to share my thoughts before I take actions. Look, it's gone a long way to give me a peace of mind. You have this peace of mind, and you know when you take decisions, it is okay. So that would be my
Okay.
last words.
Thank you so much. Sufi, your last words.
And to everybody out there, um, like I said earlier, life has stages, and at every stage there is a requirement. So, if you think you are ready for a romantic relationship, reconsider it again. Maybe if you have not yet ventured, and look at all the things that are ahead, weighing the advantages and disadvantages on you, and then seek advice from someone elderly, as my brother said, before making the move. If you are already in it, make sure you find out those things that you are doing, which can lead you to a direction that you will not cherish in life, and then do the right things. That's all I can say. Thank you.
All right, it's been great having you, Mr. Wangod Bernard, IT, and Sufi Dunedu. So Sufi actually means a teacher of life. Teaches, he fits in every direction that you put him, and he's going to deliver. I want to remind all of us that once again, this is a UX production. It's the very first edition of the Grill Circle, and I am sitting in for Nancy and Jordan, your regular host. I want to say a very big thank you to our production head for Shine and our media guys, Henry, and all the rest. Once again, my name is, and as always remain Andy, your one and only unofficial Kamanche. And until we meet again, we are saying UX, we are your youthful companion. You can always link up with us on our social media platforms. We are UX. On YouTube, it's UX GH, and all across social media, it's UX. Sufi Dunedu is also on Instagram and other social medium as Sufi Dunedu. And Mr. Wengod is also Wengod Bernard IT on Facebook. You can link up for further information. Just hit our social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we've got so much more in stock for you. We'll be glad to host you again, Mr. Wengod Bernard and Sufi Dunedu. We hope that anytime we call on you, you'll be able to surface for the sake of our young people, for the sake of their lives.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you. It's a pleasure.